Over the river and through the rail? Those might not quite be the lyrics, but they'll suffice for today as we go behind the bar at the River and Rail Restaurant. Let's break it down. All right, so we are joined at the River and Rail with bartender Jackie Gentry.
Hello.
Jackie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, I'm super excited. I never really get to be behind the bar. I'm usually on the other side enjoying delicious cocktails when I travel to all these great restaurants. And I see we already have some cubes in front of us. So please go ahead and tell me what we're making here today.
So we are going to make one of our most popular cocktails here at the River and Rail, and it is called Like Clockwork.
All right. Before we begin, so just give me like the main spirits, kind of break it down for me. What are we working with here?
All right, so we're working with, this is also our rail rye,
Okay.
which America started in rye and then, came back. Cabot Hill thankfully brought it back. And this is more closer to a Maryland style rather than Pennsylvania, even though it started Pennsylvania.
And you got to slow it down for me personally. So Maryland style, Pennsylvania style, what are the differences between the two?
So the biggest component between the two is that Maryland style is going to contain somewhat of corn, where Pennsylvania contains no corn. But I think Rittenhouse is by far one of the best things that you can have in your rail for your rye whiskey.
There you go. Tips right off the bat. Rittenhouse.
We're also using Bekarovka. This is a Czechoslovakian liqueur.
Oh.
Kind of comes out in a yellow color. You get a lot of the cinnamon notes to it, the ginger, and it kind of has a nice back history that there's only a handful of people that know the recipe, kind of like chartreuse in a way. Aperol's owned by Campari. So this one has a little bit more gentle, not as bitter taste to it, but more of an orange kind of forward flavor to it. Which also gives it a really nice color. So we've got the Bekarovka being orange, Aperol being yellow and orange, so it comes out this bright, beautiful fluorescent orange.
I personally have really only seen Aperol mixed with like lighter spirits, Aperol spritzes, things of that nature. Aperol and rye, is that like more of a unique pairing or just something that I personally haven't seen very much of?
I think I'm not a huge fan of Aperol by itself, but as far as in cocktails, I love to use it just like a triple sec. I feel like the way that it works with, your different acids and your different spices, it works very, very similar to other orange liqueurs.
Excellent.
For sure.
Well, I know we have these big ice cubes here. I know how precious those are to bartenders, so I don't want to, stall any longer.
Which
here.
are cut with a chainsaw every week.
Oh, wow. Super fun. Where does that happen? Because are we able to get the chainsaw on set right now, or?
No.
Oh, okay, that's off limits. Fun fact, I have actually, 10 years in the industry as a chef. I've never shaken a cocktail.
Oh, well.
So I'm ready to show me step by step. We can break it down together.
So we're going to use Japanese jiggers today.
Okay.
So this side is 1 ounce.
Gotcha.
The other side is 2.
Yep.
So the first ingredient, like I said, is Rittenhouse. So we're going to do 1.5 ounces of that. So we're going to pour all the way up to there.
1.5 ounces here. Okay, excellent. Here you go.
And then we're going to do Bekarovka, which is going to be 3/4 of an ounce. We'll go right up to there.
I'm working with my bartender fingers. You always look way cooler here.
Okay.
Excellent.
And with the Aperol, we're actually going to do just 1/4, so right half of a half.
Gotcha. This is really fun when you don't have a bunch of people in line trying to order a bunch of drinks from you all at once, Here I'm making my first cocktail with no guests here, just really nice and easy. It's laid back.
I love it. And we're going to do 3/4 of an ounce, just like we did with the Bekarovka of lime juice. And I do think since we're using both the Aperol and the Bekarovka, our sugar is actually going to be a lower amount than our acid, which is usually vice versa or
so
equal.
I know there's like 100 classic cocktails and there's a lot of theory on cocktails, but usually it's more sugar than acid.
Usually it's equal, or it could be or it's more acid.
That's a great tip. And that's another one I have to commit to the bank.
And then we're going to do 2 ounces of orange. I have a heavy hand, so I always do more than you're supposed to. But so just 2, 3, you're good.
Perfect.
Fabulous. All right, and then you want to make sure that you fill up your tin. We're using Caraco shakers. So regular shakers that you might have at home are probably not going to fill up as high.
Right.
The Caracos, though, it allows you to have more air. It allows you to make more than one cocktail at a time. And also it will lock in place on top. All right, so you just want to make sure you lock that in, which you can kind of feel. Everyone shakes differently, so shake however you want.
I've seen this a lot. I've seen
Yeah.
Like one of
I
these
like
ones
that.
right here?
Yeah. I
But
kind of
I'm
shake
an
like
amateur,
it.
so
Oh,
please
no,
show me
you're
how
fine,
would you
you're
how
fine.
would you do it?
Everyone to each their own. I kind of feel like I kind of make fun of myself sometimes if I sound like a choo-choo train. I'm like constantly like on beat. So, but just want to make sure you get enough air.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you just want to shake it up. All
It's
right.
kind of like a dance.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a bad dancer.
Oh,
but,
well, working behind the
we're-
bar
I'm
in the
working- this is good
kitchen
practice.
or making coffee, it's all about the dance, you know, when you're working with other people.
So what are you looking for? Because I'm sure you have a reason for how long you shake. Like, this is very cold. Is it just, do you need it to be numbingly cold, or what are you looking for when
As
you're
far as
shaking
how you're
that much?
emulsifying and shaking and breaking everything down, I mean, you've got acid going on in here. You also have herbaceous liqueurs and stuff like that. So just breaking down the sugar and acid enough to where it blends.
Yeah,
And shaking is going to be a higher dilution than stirring, obviously. So that's why it's shaking.
yours looks much better than mine.
Oh, I think it's fine. We could shake yours a little bit longer. It's okay.
Well,
Okay. And then shake it a little bit longer.
Yeah, absolutely. And then once this is done, you have to give me a grade. So we'll see what I get for.
All right.
All right, I'm ready.
Beautiful.
Well, it is what it is,
It's all good. We're also putting this drink on these large cubes because they will melt slower. All right, and so then what you're gonna do is you just wanna make sure you have a finger on top and on the side. You're going to pour into your mesh strainer. Beautiful. Gorgeous.
Now, I don't quite have the froth that yours have, but we're learning here.
It's all good. I think it looks beautiful. All right. And then for our garnish, we're gonna just do a sprinkle of, nice little heavy sprinkle of kosher salt on top.
I was very tempted to get my salt on right now.
Oh,
but I'm
do
not
it, do
going
it.
to.
Do the salt,
Okay,
do
oh,
it.
just a little bit right there. Oh, that was fun. I see why people do that. I had a really good time with that. That was great. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, wow. That's all right. Hopefully that's not copyrighted.
Oh, I love
All right.
it though. It's fine.
B plus, A minus.
I give you an A+. It's awesome.
Whoa, A plus. Ooh, that's cause for celebration right there. Now, this is your favorite drink on the menu right now, right?
It's one of mine for sure. Yeah.
One of
but
your
I think our
favorites.
whole menu is awesome for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Well, you were a fantastic teacher,
Thank you.
and there are classes at the River Rail, right, for
Oh
cocktail
yeah,
making.
for sure. But we'll be doing our first series of Amara classes starting at the end of this month, which is something I've wanted to do for a very long time. So.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Well, this was incredibly fun being on this side of the counter.
Mhm.
But how about you make yourself your favorite drink, whatever that is, whiskey, mead, or whatever it may be, and let's go ahead and do our vibe check, and just tell me all about the things besides great drinks that make River and Rail wonderful. So,
Sounds good.
off to the vibe check.
Vibe check.
Vibe check. All right, so it is now vibe check time at the River and Rail. We're still here with Jackie Gentry, but we have been also joined by front of the house manager, Caroline, whose last name I don't know. Webb. Caroline Webb, thank you for joining us for this extra special vibe check, because there is some Fernet here, which I am a fan of. And these little nips of Fernet have a little bit of a nickname, Jackie, right? You said you called them
We're gonna do the bartender handshake.
the bartender handshake. Just
Yeah.
a few sips of Fernet here. Sips, shots, I don't know. You all tell me.
It means hello, goodbye, nice to meet you.
That's right. This is the
Congratulations.
true blue vibe check experience here. So here we go to the vibe check.
To the vibe check.
All right, so got to talk a little bit more about this cocktail before we move on. It's delicious. All right?
Thank you.
So it's incredibly smooth. As the ice melts a little bit with the salt, the complexity of the cocktail changes a little bit. But from your expert perspective, what do you really love about the subtleties of this cocktail?
I think it kind of hits all the notes that you want. So you're getting your acid, you're getting your sugar, you're definitely getting your booze, and you're getting your salt as well. But it's just, I think it's very approachable whether you like whiskey or not. So it's kind of nice.
A rye, but I was surprised at how smooth this was. In the past, a lot of the rye cocktails I've had have come off kind of harsh, not particularly sweet. While this You know, I can tell that it is a sweetened cocktail, of course, and the lime is very present, but by no means would I say that this is a sugary cocktail, if that makes sense. You know, on the show here, whether it's during the vibe check or during the more breakdown part of the show, I always like to throw out a couple tips to viewers. So cocktail making has become huge. People love to do it at home. If you had to throw out one crucial tip to somebody trying to get better about making cocktails at home, you know, whether it's from the spirits you buy to the tools you need, what would be your one crucial tip to throw out to people?
I'd say it's a handful of things, but it's just knowing how to use what you're using. Just like vermouth, knowing that it needs to be refrigerated.
Okay.
Knowing when not to shake a cocktail or when to stir a cocktail. Using jiggers or not, whatever you're doing, just keeping the consistency of what you're making. So.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but that sounds like fundamentals to me. I hear that, and the way I translate is you gotta have the fundamentals of cocktail making. There's a lot of fine details that go into running a tight-knit restaurant. You know, when we're talking vibe, I mean, we have this beautiful dining room here, but what would you say kind of really sets River and Rail apart and makes it, you know, an enjoyable restaurant to visit?
We like to call ourselves a Southern Bistro,
Okay.
but I like to call it like Southern Bistro with twists and kind of fun to table.
Ooh, with the twist. I love twists. Yeah.
I mean, you see it in our food and our cocktails, like spicy pork rinds and pimento cheese, but we put like pickles in our pimento cheese.
Yeah.
People go crazy over it.
Quick rapid fire. We'll go Jackie first, Caroline second. One word to describe the vibe at the River and Rail. What do you got?
Oh man.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Go to her first.
Okay,
No
we're going to
way.
Caroline first. All right.
Oh, goodness.
I can feel that bartender's handshake setting in a little bit.
Right?
One word, Caroline, to describe the vibe at the River and Rail. What do you got for me?
That is such a hard question. If you give me 3 words, I can do that.
Oh,
Do 3?
man. You see what I have to deal with? I ask for one word. I get 2 over here, a request for 3. I'm going to throw out a word here. Professional. All right? You all
I
are
think that's a
tried
good
and
one.
true, you know?
Yeah.
You have a wealth of knowledge. You know, I had very, very little experience behind the bar. And, you know, I don't want to, you know, brag a little bit, but you did give me an A+
You did
with my
great,
cocktail. All right? You've been exceptionally welcoming. But despite being an upscale restaurant, if I'm allowed to say that, you know, I mean, the decor, the menu, everything, you know, says upscale. It's upscale without like a pretentious feel or an air of elitism, you know? Everybody is welcome at the River and Rail.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll drink to that. So.
Yes.
Well, thank you all for joining me on this vibe check and welcoming you all into your work home. And thank you for breaking it down. All right.